All right, welcome to another Big Mish Movement workshop. Today we are talking about scoliosis. This is a tough one because it is a very complex issue, and it is not a sort of a one-side issue. It's a spectrum that many of us fall into. And so basically what I'm here to talk about today are management strategies, because we all need a bit of management strategies for scoliosis, but some of us who are suffering particularly, let's say, we might just need a few extra bits, golden nuggets or tools or things to help get by. How can we warm up properly? Or what are some of the things we need to go from here to better handle this issue? Okay, so first off is a little bit of background information of what scoliosis is, and then we're going to go through 6 exercises you can do as warm-ups or throughout your day, but usually I like them as warm-ups, as sort of body prepping exercises, and specifically to catering to scoliotic needs, but also they're going to be for everybody, as always. So what is scoliosis? It is not something that you are born with. It is not something that it's like a disease or something. It is something, yeah, like I said, a spectrum where you fall into. Okay, so scoliosis is a curvature of the spine. Yeah, so let's actually get this first thing out the way. Surgery is obviously something you should be aware of as a very last resort option. Maybe if you're having some major, over many years, scoliotic problems. Here's why. The body was meant to move. It was designed to move. You are suffering from a movement dysfunction or lack of, and I'm going to explain why. You solidified over that throughout time. Your nervous system's just gotten so used to it, clings onto it. And therefore, you have very little ability to get over to the other side. By having surgery to correct your spine, you're gonna cause a lot more problems down the road. Just so that you know, you're still gonna have to learn the same things that I'm basically gonna be teaching you today anyway, but the surgery might be adding additional problems. That's just to be aware of. Now, I'm not here to fix scoliosis. Again, I'm here to provide management strategies, things that you can do that will better your body mechanics and help you get out of this state. So, that's how you know it's a spectrum, okay? So we kind of fall into the spectrum. Why? Okay, so the human body is not as equal as we think. I mean, we have 2 arms, we have 2 legs, but here's the thing. Who uses both arms equally and who uses both legs equally, meaning dominantly for balance and pushing off? Nobody, hardly anybody. Everybody has a favorite. So that's clue number 1 to showing that we're not as equal as we think. However, irregardless of if you're right-handed, left-handed, irregardless of if you're right leg dominant or left leg dominant, our body, our nervous system, more specifically, our brain function, our breathing, coupled in then together with our visual system, we have a lot of things that shift us to the right. Just in terms of laterally, hemispherically, irregardless. If you use your left leg, that's fine. That's your body probably trying to compensate, because again, you don't want to be completely right shifted. That would make you scoliotic. So you're compensating. If you're left-handed, your body's trying to compensate. You learned whatever patterns you learned, we don't know. The problem is that we fall into, or the good or the better, the better or the worst thing is how we develop. Some people develop magnificently and they have athletic bodies and whatnot, although they probably still have some issues down the line. Other people, they don't develop very well. And because they're not developing well, their nervous system, because they're not developing too well, their nervous system really clings on to this shifting pattern that happens. So, with that being said, we fall into this right shifting of dependency. Coupled in, like I said, with our breathing. Just a little fun fact for you to know, our right side diaphragm is better positioned, better supported, better attached on the spine. There's just a lot more going on the right to give it a lot of gravitational pull. We breathe 22,000 plus times a day, influenced by a more dominantly attached right side diaphragm. One last little thing. So then our sort of way of life, this sort of yin and yang, this stress rest lifestyle, let's just say, that we live in. We are very, very much dominantly living on the stress end of the scale as opposed to the rest end of the scale. Sure, we have to rest, but let's think of like amount of times you engage in stress, engage in anything that sort of doesn't bring you back to the present, doesn't slow you down, doesn't make you not think of where you're going. A lot of that just sort of promotes stress. So it doesn't matter if you're like saying, well, I don't live a stressful lifestyle, I'm still like this. You just have to understand that all these gravitational things, mentally, respiratorily, pull you to the right, and now physiologically you don't trust it as well, and then we ended up getting, over time, maybe a completely right shifted scoliotic pattern. Your muscles engage that way, and so that's just how you just ended up falling into. So a big part of it is breathing. Some of it I would like to, then breathing always usually ties in with stress and whatnot anyway, so sometimes I even like to think of it as having some mental consciousness, but let's not get into that today. We're not going to worry about that, but breathing is a big place to start. And because the rib cage position and all that affects the hip stability, we're definitely going to focus on the hip stability, and that is a huge component of it because you're very much right shifted in the hips and you're right shifted overall. But what we need to learn to do is take your hips to the other way, and we also need to take your rib cage the other way via breathing. Hips more for stability. And so then, the most important thing I just want you to understand out of this, where it's going, why do we need to know going forward, is the body was meant to oscillate, move back and forward. That is how it progresses forward as a human being. That is how it moves. That is how we develop and grow beautifully. And it is what we're lacking so much in our training, is oscillatory, pendular movements. We are shifted, we are stuck on one side, and the less time we spend going back and forth, the less our body sometimes learns to figure that out. There are other components, like I said, there's breathing, there's some mental stuff, as well as some jaw compensation balances that are going on that I don't want to get into either, but we do want to be aware of. Everything's just pulling you this way, so the more we can get back on that way, whether it's working out, whether it's fun activities where you're a little bit more mindful of what you're doing, whether it's a walk, a hike, swimming, jogging, there are lots of different things I'm going to talk about at the end, but that's enough for now. So now you know we're lacking stability on the left, we're lacking good breathing mechanics on the left because we already have this bias pulling us to the right, okay? We are meant to go back and forth as human beings, and maybe just somehow, some way over time, you just got really sucked into the right. So I'm going to give you six exercises. Some of them are going to be stretching, some of them are going to be breathing, some are going to be moving your hips, some of them are going to be hip stability, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So getting a little bit of everything, and as we go through them, we'll sort of piece together this sort of back and forth motion, getting you to getting your body to trust this left side a little bit better. Can it trust and let go of any stability references on the right? Okay, so that's enough for talking for now. I see a question already. Use the body weight. Well, you'll see what I'm about to get into. That will answer your question. Okay, so what are some of these exercises that we can do? Now remember, scoliosis, it can be really bad, it can be mild. I'm fairly athletic, I've worked out a lot in my life, pretty tall, probably grew a little fast at a young age, and so forth. I developed mild scoliosis. It does not affect anything that I do, and in addition, I am actually even left leg dominant in a stance, but I'm definitely not, I'm definitely right bending dominant. So there's just an example of someone who has a mild case, but I even have a good left leg. I just need to be able to reciprocate a little bit better. Some people are going to be only good on their right leg, and we also have a rib cage toward to the right. So it depends on your severity, but all of these exercises are going to be good for you. So number one is we're going to do a stretch to open up our right side. This is a very good stretch because in general, you are allowing your body to go into a really calm state. If you have a stability ball, go get that. If not, grab a stack of pillows, which I'm about to grab. Okay. All right. So, real simple, legs straight. This arm can go forward, this arm up, and you're gonna hang here. Now, there's one thing you cannot see with your feet. Top leg, push it down into the floor. Bottom leg, which will be your left leg, I want you to turn your foot up so that you're on your heel. Feel your heel. If you can just hold that left foot turned up, make sure your right foot is turned down. Open up right here and just chill out. Maybe you could even support your head with the bottom arm or support your head with the top arm, whatever feels better. And just really let all of this open up. And I want you to breathe into this rib cage. It's really important that you breathe and expand. Breathe and expand. Okay, big breath in. Big breath out. Make sure you stay on that left heel. Turn that left foot up. Big breath in. Push those ribs apart as you breathe in. Nice exhale. Keep that left foot turned up. That's really important for activating the inner thighs. And that's gonna pull your hips in towards that left. Okay, you can lie here for 5 breaths. You could lie there for 5 minutes. Just to show you guys what my foot was doing, in case you couldn't see it. Okay. Left foot is turned up. Okay, left foot is turned up, right foot pressed down. Okay, left foot turned up. Okay, that's pretty important in terms of positioning, activating muscles to position your hips. Okay, which is very huge for when we're working or when we're trying to fix scoliosis, because we have to reposition the hips, but you have to do it. You have to do it actively. You can't do it with an adjustment. You can't really do it with releasing muscles. You have to actively pull yourself to that way. So that's what the rest of our exercises are gonna kind of go through. It's more active motion, okay? Next one. I see a lot of questions here. Oh yeah, your cycler, okay? Yeah, I got a question from a cycler. Yeah, man, just worry about these warm-ups. If you do these warm-ups, you'll be in a great position. Because if you want to cycle, that's cool, but you're still going to be pulled into a right shifting pattern. So these are great warm-up exercises. Okay, so 90-90 hip stretch, okay, or hip movements. This is kind of working a lot here, okay. So number one, just get into this pattern right here. All right, we'll go left hand down and we'll just hold our right arm forward, okay. If you have to put one hand down, I want you to really drive this leg into the floor. Drive it and push into the floor. That's gonna activate your right hip. very important, okay? Meanwhile, this is clamping down. That's going to activate the left inner thigh, very important. Those are two key players for pushing the hip to the left. Now you got a bit of a right hip stretch going on here, which is why I want you to actively push into the floor so that you're not just feeding into your stretch, you're actually activating. To hold yourself upright, we got a nice left oblique, pretty important for pulling the ribs down on the left. We'll keep the left hand on the floor, and I just want you to reach forward, and I just want you to breathe deeply here. And again, breathe into your ribs. This is very important. You're pulled down on the right because you're just a little bit more compressed on that side. You're a little bit more tense, sympathetic drive. I can't think of more simpler words to use, but it just has a hard time of letting go. So this is a very important thing to do, or stretch or exercise, for getting especially crunch on the left and breathe and open into that right side and get it to let go. See if you can breathe and really get those ribs to push apart. Exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. Meanwhile, you should be feeling this getting a little bit tight. That's a good thing. Breathe in and exhale. We'll go one more. Breathe in, feel it expand. Good, exhale. Now we can even do a bit of a hip flow stretch. Okay, we won't use any arms. Let's just go chest down, push yourself away, swivel, switch. Chest down, without using arms, push yourself away. So this is actually our good side. As you can see, now I'm back to shifting right. It's not that we don't want to do this side, but we want to make sure we can go back and forth. So let's swivel over, chest down, without your hands, push yourself away. Good. Unhook, rehook. Other side, chest down, push yourself away. And we'll go one more each side. So this, what we're doing here is just doing healthy hip swivels. We're taking the hips, pushing them one way, activating all these muscles around the hip complex, pushing them the other way. So, and make sure you're not using arms to push yourself away. It's coming from the hip. The hip is driving your chest away from the floor. So by doing all of that, you're doing a lot of healthy hip motions from right to left. You're activating outer thigh, hips, inner thigh, groin area, some deep stabilizers too. It's a real winner, so that's a good one to sort of get your hips going. But start with a nice stretch, opening up that right side, like this. You can go hand on the floor and reaching here. We want to open up this side, get it to let go. Get it to let go, get it to expand. Okay, moving on. Now, we're gonna do a bit of a core exercise, a bit of a hip exercise. It will be reciprocating and alternating on both sides, so you're getting the development. Again, we got some good obliques and some very good, powerful hip muscles driving. I don't want to overcomplicate this matter, but people, again, whether you're scoliotic or even not, or even if you're not, if you're just a human being, you're probably going to have one good leg and the other leg might not be quite as good. And no, very, very few people in this world have one leg that works just as well as the other one, that they trust just as well as the other one, that they can just use just as well as the other one. And so that is the greater good of the problem, is that we fall so dependent on one. Now it might be good for us to balance and stabilize on, but it still might be lacking certain muscles that ultimately are going to drive you to the other side. Because if we're stuck on one side, then obviously that one side is also not doing a good job of pushing you to the other side. So what I want to say is reciprocate and alternate. Go back and forth, work back both sides unilaterally, and you ultimately untangle your problems. That's what I was trying to say with that. So there's this exercise, okay? I've done this one not too long ago, but we're gonna do it again because as you can see, it's gonna be very good for hip stability, very good lateral line work, and we got a good little oblique clamp. Okay, so we're gonna have both knees bent on your elbow right here, okay? From this position, we're gonna, keeping our knee and shin braced down onto the floor, we're going to extend our hips up and forward and lock out, making a straight line. Drive that knee forward. You can just keep your arm right here for now for this one. Okay? Back down to the floor. Bring that arm forward again. Bring that hip up, knee up forward, arm back. Making sure you're nice, unison, straight line. Hips back down to the floor with control. Okay, up. Make sure you really push your forearm into the ground on this left side so that you're pushing your right ribs up. Breathe into it, breathe out. Back down to the floor. One more time. Activate that left hip up. Nice. Making sure that you're really planked out. Let's do the other side real quick. Okay, I'll do 4 or so reps. So right here, so this one, you're working a right oblique, which may be our dominant in the case of scoliosis. However, we're working a right hip, which is very important. So it's just important to making sure both players know their part and can do their part. Then it's about coordinating them. But here we go. Right here, arm reaching forward, pull it back, hold for a good sec, slow down to the floor. Up, slow back down to the floor, 2 more, pull that elbow back, up, knee up, slow back down to the floor, last one, drive. Back down to the floor. Good, okay? Very important for getting that right hip stability, very important. It's a big missing component often with scoliosis, but not in the sense of for balance. We balance well over our right, but we're not good pushers, drivers with our right. If we were good pushers and drivers, we might be leaning more to the left. That's why left-handers tend to actually be more right foot dominant in terms of even jumping and whatnot. It gets complicated. All you have to understand is you got to go back and forth and treat the body like some pendular oscillatory motion thing that we have to train, we have to get better at. We have to untangle because we're biased neurologically. We shift to the right neurologically. That's why we warm up in these ways. So moving on, okay. Another one. This is a great one if you've got scoliotic problems in terms of teaching you how you want to think of your breathing pattern. Okay. And meanwhile, we're also working some nice core and hip mechanic functions. Okay. We're gonna do, and I've done this before, but now you see why these exercises are so important and so good at building good habits. We're gonna do bear crawl, and we're gonna do it with breathing expansion. In fact, I posted this exercise on my Instagram a couple of days ago. In a bear crawl, you're just gonna take a pace, stop, exhale all the way, inhale all the way, making sure you expand, and then take a pace. Repeat, exhale all the way, inhale all the way, take a pace. So, as you're taking these paces, naturally, your one hand's in front of the other, and you're going knee to elbow. As you can see, the rib cage is crunched, other side is expanded. So you exhale, you facilitate the crunch, you inhale, you expand. You switch, now the other side is crunch. You exhale, facilitating crunch, you inhale, facilitating expansion. This is what we need to be going through in life when we're exercising, when we're walking, running. It's just a healthy habit that we're not naturally good at. As I already explained, the nervous system shifts you right. So let me demonstrate one more time, but if you need to, this will be on, this is on my Instagram page, this is on my YouTube page. I've done a demo on it, so it's there. So here we go. You're just gonna take a pace, exhale away, inhale away, and you're gonna feel that one side crunch as you exhale, and you're gonna feel the other side expand as you inhale. So from right as far back as I can go, lifting up, okay? I take a pace, exhale all the way. I feel my right side crunch, inhale all the way. I feel my left side expand. I take a pace, exhale. I feel my left side crunch, inhale. I feel my right side expand. Very important. Make sure you lock your elbows out and push yourself away from the floor as much as possible. Take a pace, exhale. I feel my right side crunch, inhale. I feel my left side expand, last one. Exhale, crunching into my left, inhale. Expanding on my right. Healthy, back and forward, reciprocating rib cage movements. And the bear crawl is just good because with your arms reaching, you get more expansion into the ribs. You get more drop of the ribs, which is better core, better for your exhalation. The position of your legs, you got a nice length tension relationship from your quads to your hamstrings. So it's a great, great position to work, great mechanics, but more so getting that breathing, the breathing mechanics sorted. Okay, couple more things. These are some of the strengths, stretches, integrated motions. Well, no, not really integrated. We're about to get into the integrated motions to really sort of fine tune some of this. But definitely go through those initial stretches and strengthening exercises so that it helps you feel some of the things you need to feel. And you might already be standing up a little straighter already just by going through all that. I'm gonna answer your questions in a minute. My guy who keeps sending my questions, I'm gonna answer those at the end. A couple more things and then we'll get to that. So, you've done all of that. Let's really feel this left side. Let's really get some breathing going on this left side. So, if you have a book or something, that might actually help. It's not completely necessary, but it helps to have sometimes something raised a little bit. You're gonna put your left foot on there, okay? But it's not absolutely necessary. You can just go without anything. In that case, I want you to take a step back. Regardless, you're gonna take a step back, but you wouldn't necessarily take a step back onto an object. That would be just stand on an object, and then you're pretty much what I will do is center you. So it's basically got me centered over my left heel. If I don't have that, just take a step back. Now I'm centered over my left heel. Slight knee bend, so I'm slightly relaxed. You're not standing locked out. Slightly knee bent, okay? Just almost like you're, ready to involve in a running game or something. Ready to, not quite sprint start, but you're just kind of you're just ready to move almost. Relax, knees slightly bent, but you took a step back onto your left, okay? So what I want is a right hand on the ribs, left hand reaching down. And what we're gonna do is gonna take, let's go 5 deep breaths, expanding here. On your inhale, reaching down on our exhale, okay? Just to correct that camera. So expansion on the hand, so your hand can help you feel that. Exhale, reach down so that we squeeze. And we're trying to do this with you actually balanced. Kind of on one leg, but not really. We're not gonna make it that hard. We're gonna kind of put you on balance and see if you can really pull this rib cage over to the left. So very functional, healthy thing to do, especially if you're scoliotic, okay? So we can use the book for the first one, or if not, just take a step back. But here, I'm on that book, so I'm to balance even, I've got my weight centered over my left. Your right foot can be on the floor, just sort of lightly put your toe on the floor. But I want you centered over here, knees slightly bent. Right hand on the ribs, left hand, reach down and breathe out. Breathe into here. Exhale, reach down. Making sure we exhale through the mouth. It's gotta be through the mouth because that engages the core. Breathe into here. Make it expand, let it go. Exhale through the mouth. Reaching for that floor. Inhale through the ribs. Exhale, reach down. One more inhale. Good, good, good. So here's the thing. You're only gonna, especially if you have this issue, you're only gonna want to do that on the left side. There's no real reason to do this on the right, because you're already there. You need to get yourself out of that. So that's why, just left stance, step back onto your left heel, slight knee bend, reach down, hands on the ribs. Inhale, expand into the ribs right here. Exhale, reach for that floor. 5 or so breaths, just one time. Just give yourself that nice little reminder, but also stretching into your opening up that right side, but also really grounding yourself and activating that left side, which is why you want a good left stance. Okay? So then now let's just do some motions to facilitate these movements, okay? So one of the last few things we're gonna do, first of all, the hip loading. So let's get more, this is, we'll be assessing more of these hip motions, but we'll also get a little upper body. Let's get the hips to be able to turn into our left side, because if we're stuck on the right, that means every time we're taking a step with our left, our hips are never fully committing. So now let's turn everything into our left side. We'll do right as well for this one, just because we want to get more of a healthy motion, healthy movement going on this one. This is rather than forcing anything one way. We want healthy back and forth. So we'll go left side, we'll actually go right side first, and then we'll go left side. So let's keep your feet flat. Just take a lunge step forward. So let me show you this way. Lunge step forward. I want to take reach and reach across, pushing your right hip to the side. You should feel a stretch in your right hip. Reach back and then come to center. Take a step, reach across, pushing your right hip out to the side, come back. And again, step, plant, reach. And then one more, step, plant, reach. Good. Now we're gonna go left side. So keeping your feet planted, step, hip to the side, reach across, getting all the way into that left hip. 3 more, step, feet flat, slight knee bend, reach across, getting yourself all the way into that left hip. 2 more, step, feet planted, reach across. Last one, feet flat, knees slightly bent, reach across, hips to the side. You should feel all this sort of engage because it's literally holding you. But we want to healthily move from this side, this side, this side, this side, okay? We're lacking it, we're lacking that, so we're just trying to sort of wake the body up, okay? So that's sort of getting your hips to turn into the position. Let's do a little bit for the spine too. So now same thing, I'm gonna go right side first. Actually, yeah, let's go left side first because we're gonna turn to our right, okay? Take a step forward, keep your feet planted, slight knee bend, open up, Just push your hips to the side. Straighten up. Okay. Take a step. Push everything and reach. 2 more. Step, push. Step, push. So now I'm going to go to the other side, which is the side that needs it. But think about the control of the hip. Push the hip to the side, have control of it, and come back in. Take a step, hips to the side, control it, open up that right side, breathe into it. Back, 2 more. Step, control the hip, open up that right side. Come in. Last one. Step, control, open. Very, very good. The last thing you want to do from an upright standing position, because this is very important. Human beings are ultimately meant to function, move, complete tasks on their feet. So if you're lacking something, your body's not going to trust it. It's going to trust this dominant, which is this right shifted side. So our last little exercise in the standing position. So similar to what we did, keep your feet flat. Okay. We'll go reach for the toe, one hand down. Okay. I want you to bring this knee up, reach forward. Control, toe back to the floor, reaching for the toe. Now we're going to extend up, making sure we're locking out this hip as we're reaching forward. Slow back to the floor, control it in the hip, reaching for that toe. Breathe in as you ground yourself over this foot. Exhale, drive the knee up, reach. And do one more. Soft down to the floor, reach for that toe. You're grounded over this hip. Breathing in and exhale. Very good, last one. Here we go, I'll do it head on. Okay, reach for that toe. By reaching for the toe, you're gonna center yourself over this foot. Much better. Good. And exhale. Nice little arm reach, keeps you loaded on the left side. Breathe in. Breathe out, push. 2 more. Softly down to the floor, reaching. And then last one. Breathe in. Nice little twist and rotate. Reaching. Good. Good. That's pretty much it for the exercises. Those arm reaches, very important. We're just missing that as human beings because we don't maximize on our movements very well. We've been very confined, we sit a lot, we don't move well enough, and over time what that develops is a very stiff body. One of the signs of a very stiff body is the lack of arm swing. It promotes a stiff rib cage, poor breathing, so on and so forth. Maybe one thing I did not explain in some of that is as you're doing these arm reaching, breathe. Breathe in and expand. Truth is about all this scoliosis stuff is it's rib cage expansion. If you can manage rib cage expansion, you'll manage scoliosis. It's just you have to be able to reciprocate, alternate. That being said, those exercises are done. It's not necessarily means you're going to be cured or fixed, but they're very good places to start and what you need to do. There are certain muscles you can release, but it is not about those muscles. Your body is being pulled into this state, and you need to teach it how to get out of it over the long run. Some of that is going to come down to the strengthening, warming up exercises. Some of it is going to be down to some life habits. That's something you need to think about yourself, but just understand that we want to treat the body in a night, like we want to balance the body. We want to balance the body. And our posture is always symbolic of something that maybe might be missing, or something that we're overthinking, which is also sometimes a big thing that we don't realize, overthinking. So that's something just be aware of that you can always seek inside of yourself. But you've got yourself 6 exercises, strengthening movement techniques to help manage it. Yes, you can get a massage or some manual therapy. Yeah, PT can do that for you, or maybe some chiropractic adjustment, but without any of this preparation and long-term progression, you're never gonna get yourself out of it. You have to fight your nervous system, because we are beat creatures of go, go, go. We're on all the time. We don't ever shut off enough. Ultimately, that drives us into these states, and sometimes because for whatever reason, the way we grew up, we didn't learn to balance ourselves out physiologically, but then there's other things throughout the life that sometimes just the nervous system can really pull you to that way. Do some of the breathing stuff, get your sides to open up, expand, because you're not just going through the motions, you're actually breathing. And work those hip movements, work that hip strength. If you're doing that, you're gonna put yourself in a very good place. Reciprocate, alternate, that's the aim of the game, that's what the body wants to do. We do these things so that we can enjoy our movement, get better workouts with more effort, more focus. When you enjoy it, you love it more, and that way you reap the benefits so much better. But we can't do it if we're not preparing our body, and nobody tells us this stuff. So that's what I'm here to do, is tell you this stuff. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna answer some questions that I see here. I don't think I have anything on Instagram, no, but I do have something here on Twitch. Okay, I got somebody that's cycling here, and so here's the thing about the cycling. So yeah, just here's the thing about cycling. Great exercise, wonderful, but it's very continuous. It is oscillatory, it's back and forth. It's just not gonna favor your human mechanics well enough. A bicycle was designed to go forward, or take the human body forward, but it does not favor your human mechanics. And so again, you can cycle, but if you do these things, these exercises, or you learn about these concepts from these exercises, you can live your life and do your workouts with a little bit maybe better strategies of warming up or conditioning, or maybe when you go into your weight training, now you have a bit of better idea of what you want to do, so that we unwind some of these patterns that we fall into. That's what it's all about, really. We all have to understand a bit of what these dysfunctions are, but dysfunctions are ultimately always coming from something lacking with the human movement, because at the end of the day, movement is always the best medicine. That's just bottom line. But a bicycle will not provide enough of that for you. So hopefully the exercises today taught you some of that. Yeah, you said something about your breathing. It's all about the breathing. Because the breathing, last point I'm gonna make here, the breathing is nervous system management. That's it. Breathing is nervous system management. So when we have nervous system issues, you're probably gonna have to breathe better. If you're having high stress, high anxiety, somebody has to learn to breathe better, or at least slow your breath down multiple times a day. Why? Because when we're excited and we're on the go, we're doing the opposite, we're speeding up. So hopefully this hasn't been too confusing. Hopefully I've painted this sort of picture of what is going on with the human body. It's very much biased to one side, it's very much on the go all the time. We lack proper movement growing up, we lack proper stability, we only end up trusting one side. I've given you some movements, strengthening and stretches that also integrate breathing together with it, and hopefully you've got a better understanding of yeah, I'm really pushed to this side, so I want to pull everything here, crunch here, and expand. And as long as you're moving your hips with exercises from left to right, you'll be working some nice healthy patterns. that's it for today. Bit of a long episode, but scoliosis is a complicated factor. Please always reconsider surgery unless it's a last resort. But go through what some of the stuff I've done. It will help you, help anybody. We're all slightly scoliotic because we're all right shifted. It is in the nervous system, DNA. Go look it up in a neurology book because it is just how we are designed. We just need to learn to cater to it. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Drop me any comments that you might, drop me any questions that you might have in the comments. And if you want to know about a topic, leave me a message and I'd be happy to address it and clear up the confusion so that you can go get a good workout, have enjoyment, focus, effort in it, and get the best out of it. Take care for now. See you guys next time.